comes out, I see it in the news like everyone else. But I did feel uncomfortable with the way he would present the idea of going to these projects.
I blame everybody that's in his circle. They're all means and they want to be like him.
But the Fresh Prince sets the record straight on where he really stands with Combs, formerly known as Puff Daddy or Puffy early in his career, saying he's not jiggy with the freak-offs or baby oil, in fact.
I don't have to do with Puffy, so y'all can stop.
And now you have to ask yourself, how did 50 come into the possession of Diddy's footage for Diddy's documentary about Diddy?
50 Cent leaked a new footage showing a celebrity orchestra party gathering, which quickly reignited public speculation and renewed attention on long-standing rumors circulating within entertainment circles. He was no longer seen as merely provocative. He was positioning himself against silence, influence, and an industry often protected by layers of power and discretion. The emergence of this material prompted widespread discussion as audiences revisited earlier statements about powerful and seemingly untouchable networks, interpreting them through a new lens as ongoing controversies surrounding Diddy continued to develop and public scrutiny intensified, leading viewers to connect past commentary with present unfolding events.
Pick up this audio from Suge Knight. It's from his podcast with Dave Mays, and he's speaking on, Tupac and Snoop being cool and how, after Tupac got killed, Snoop started hanging out with Diddy. And, he also speaks on how, Snoop, he did the Steve Harvey show with Diddy after Tupac got killed. Check this out.
Okay. It's downloading right now.
Then you look at the scenario how everybody used Pac to make their stuff famous or make their project better. You got people who use their songs for Pac and tell them how much they love Pac, but they do songs for Puffy. You got Steve Harvey, old big ass, this motherfucker telling, well, Pac, according to everybody else, he brings Snoop and Puffy on there and say, these are dudes who's running this in the East Coast, West Coast.
What's up, Snoop?
What's up, huh? Hey, whoa, wait a minute, fellas here, hold up. I know all about this East Coast, West Coast rivalry thing here, but we in Chicago now. This rivalry stuff, we gotta stop it, man. We stop that, we stop a lot of this violence.
Yo, Steve, check this, man. All that East Coast, West Coast stuff is a bunch of media hype. It's been my dog from day one, you know what I'm saying? It's all good between me and him. That's my peoples.
For real, that's what we came in for. We came in and light it up and ride it up. We make it.
Now, Pac, if you love Pac so much, how you with the mother place they got something to do with the first get down that happened to Pac in New York, then the second one.
What you think about Suge comments? And I've never asked you this before, but did you have an issue with Snoop hanging out with Diddy after Tupac got killed?
I always felt that was wrong. I'm gonna just keep it real. I'm talking about from that, like now, okay, you know what I mean? I'm 46, Snoop probably early 50s. If he figured out now, he might go by the opinion like, okay, Puffy had nothing to do with Pac. We're grown now. If he want to be his friend, no problem. But back then, that was just awkward. You know what I mean? And the reason why it was awkward to me that I never even like it because you knew how Pac felt about this individual.
Fans noted that Snoop Dogg has long spoken about being present at Diddy's social events, with older interviews and clips showing how their circles often overlapped. As online speculation resurfaced, people questioned why his name was not included in the discussion around the leaked footage. Some argued it may have been avoided due to potential backlash from fans and industry connections. Given Snoop's global status and cultural influence, others suggested his reputation alone makes him far less likely to be directly drawn into such narratives.
The BET Awards went off without a hitch last night. A sense of that there. No, inside everything was fine, outside everything was fine. And Kevin Hart decided that he was going to make jokes about, he's the host, right? So you have to sort of roast a little bit about someone who's in the audience because, this person is in a prison, actually right now sitting in a courtroom, and that's Diddy. Yes, he didn't say his name, but it was very clear to everyone who he was talking about here Watch the reactions in the.
Diddy was a big part of this culture. You know,
Right.
his after parties, you know, were a part of the BET experience. So, you know, life comes at you fast, but, you know, Kevin had to address the elephant in the room.
By the way, we should say the Diddy after parties that happen after award shows, that's not what the trial is about. Those weren't freak offs. The trial is something separate, but still, nobody wanted to be seen as laughing at him.
Kevin Hart's name came up in online discussions, largely tied to unverified rumors about early career industry gatherings, sometimes referred to as flavor camp. These events were loosely associated in speculation with Diddy and emerging talent networks, which later fueled public debate about how entertainment connections and opportunities may have overlapped behind the scenes.
You know, the internet is going wild on him, saying that he was a curator and a narrator of one of the Diddy parties and got caught on tape. You hear that?
Wow. I didn't hear that one.
That must be one of your favorite. That must be one of your favorite comedians, then. Cause you ain't hear that?
That was cool.
Huh?
I didn't hear it.
Get out of here.
It was cool, but I didn't hear that one. Must have missed it, man. I think I caught most of them.
I think he almost fell in the tub with one of the girls. Diddy had some girls in the tub, a tub of baby oil or something like that, and he almost fell in the tub. It was crazy.
You know, he would be one of the celebrities that I definitely wouldn't think would be involved in anything illegal. For sure.
But you gotta realize this, man. People who get caught up in certain those things like that, those parties and things like that, is that they don't go there looking for that stuff. You gotta understand, they get caught up in the moment with the alcohol, the drugs, and then certain bottles that are laced with certain things that take you away from your normal self. And you end up probably doing something that you probably never do again in your life. You never get caught up in those things ever before. There are a lot of celebrities that go to these parties like this. And they not only Diddy parties. I went to a party before and You Can't Handle the Truth and King Kong Ain't Got Nothing on Me was at one of those parties. I was bodyguarding one of the girls. So what I'm saying is that it's rampant, and this was years ago. This was over 20 years ago. It's rampant in the music industry. It's rampant in Hollywood, film, pictures, and anything.
Fans began revisiting Kevin Hart's early stand-up material, and while nothing concrete supported the claims, certain jokes were interpreted differently by some viewers in hindsight, prompting renewed curiosity about what he may have experienced in the industry. Online speculation suggested that mentioning his name directly could have carried significant professional and legal complications, given his extensive ties to major studios, contracts, and ongoing projects. Nothing was ever confirmed, but the lack of direct commentary only fueled continued public curiosity and discussion.
So Mace was told the day before the incident at the celebrity basketball game that someone was coming for Puffy and Biggie. And another line that Mace said that caught my attention, man, was him saying that never found the killer. Why is there? How do you feel about him saying that? Because it sounds like he's referring to Biggie getting killed in LA, and Puffy, he's currently living in LA right now. And why does he feel so comfortable living somewhere that Biggie got killed at, knowing that they never found the killer and the murder is still unsolved?
Well, on all honestly, brother, you would have to ask him that. You know what I'm saying? But if I'm looking at it like that, then I know, you know, those mansions are heavily guarded, 1. 2, he wasn't getting the love that he would get. I don't think he's getting love in LA. I don't know. He said he owns LA, he runs LA, he runs Miami, and he runs New York. So by him running LA, as he say he does, I would feel comfortable too. You know what I'm saying? If I knew for a fact that the person they got, and that was enough to call back all of everything, I would feel that comfortable too. But I wouldn't live there. I wouldn't go there. I'd do business and get on out of there. If I was still afraid, I don't think he may have not ever been afraid. You understand? Because he never acted like he was afraid for whatever reason it was. I can't pinpoint it myself, man.
Hey, what's up, King Son? I'm trying to enjoy this life. Man, you doing it, man. You deserve it, Daddy. Yes, I am. You putting in that work. I'm proud of you. I love you. I appreciate it. Yeah.
Meek Mill's name entered the conversation after an audio clip surfaced online and quickly spread, fueling widespread debate. While some dismissed it and Meek denied any wrongdoing, the controversy continued to circulate. Online speculation suggested that directly including him in the discussion could have created serious legal and reputational complications, potentially affecting the release and triggering significant media backlash. As a result, some observers believe his absence reflects caution around sensitive claims rather than confirmed facts, while others see it as another example of how public narratives are often shaped by what is left unsaid.
That Meek Mills and Puff was a little too friendly. Anytime two rappers or two people in the industry come dressed up alike on more than one occasion, listen here, man. My dudes in Philly, I got some real strong dudes in Philly. They don't play that. And they probably embarrassed for the fact to see that Meek Mills, one of the street guys that came out of there, got caught up in this Hollywood, whereas that he's dressing like Diddy, hugged up with Diddy. I think that Lil Rod know a lot of, but I know this. Two men dress alike, it's just like two men laying down. When they both get up, they both homos. And that's real talk, bruh. My man, you go to a party, dog, and the nigga got the same shirt you got on, I'm taking my shirt off. I'm walking around in a t-shirt. And then, not to blow Meek Mills up out the water or anything like that, it was said that they checked his Google search and all that, and he was searching for some online gay porn and all that.
Oh, wow.
Crazy, bro. But listen, those are what, you know, it's crazy that money, that lifestyle, and you trying to fit into something get you. These guys never set out to do all this. Meek Mills, when he got into the game, he didn't set out to be questioned about his manhood with Diddy. But he put himself in that position.
Like, you know, where we hanging out and what we doing, we can't really disclose, but it's definitely a 15-year-old's dream. You know, I have been given custody of him. You know, he signed to Usher.
I'm signed to Usher.
I had legal guardianship of Usher when you know he did his first album. I did Usher's first album. I don't have legal guardianship of him, but for the next 48 hours, he's with me. So
among the most sensitive figures discussed were Justin Bieber and Usher, both of whom had early career connections with Diddy. In online conversations, older clips and interviews resurfaced and were reinterpreted through a more critical lens, with some viewers pointing to later emotional public moments from Bieber as further fuel for speculation. However, much of this remains unverified interpretation rather than established fact. Many observers believe that any formal production would avoid centering such figures, not due to lack of relevance, but because involving individuals with complex personal histories could risk amplifying harm and shifting attention away from accountability. As a result, their names are often treated cautiously or omitted entirely in serious discussion of the topic.
They don't even bootleg. They don't even bootleg no more, man. So it's going to be hard to figure it out if it does exist.
Do you believe the guy in the tape is white?
If he's bigger than Diddy and he's not none of the names that I said, probably so. But then they say he was young too.
Yeah, they say he was young.
Let me get his name right. I hope it ain't the Bieber. I hope it's not the Bieber.
That's a good one. It might be him. But if they saying that the guy is young and he's an A-lister, I can't think of that many black people, man.
Right. Not at all. And somebody that more powerful, more of a celebrity than Diddy. You understand what I'm saying? If they were saying somebody that was more celebrity than Diddy, he was an A-lister, he was younger. You know what I'm saying? And if he's not black, it would have to be the Bieber. That's his name, Bieber? They said I got that wrong too. Justin Bieber. Allegedly. I don't know, bro.
Right. But when you heard the news that Diddy, he had a tape with another man, did that catch you by surprise or not?
Well, all this is by surprise to me. A lot of this is by surprise to me, to be totally honest, man. Because I knew Puff, I knew Puff Daddy, I knew Diddy before he was Love and Brother Love and back to Diddy. So, no, but the diddler, he's the diddler now. A lot of it's surprising, but it's not unheard of. Because you hear of all kinds of and whether it registered with you or you internalize it or something like that, that's a whole nother story. But a lot of this stuff is crazy. But this is the world that we live in now, man.
Clive Davis is often described in commentary as a central power figure in the music industry, sometimes framed as a gatekeeper shaping careers across multiple generations. His absence from the documentary has been noted by some viewers, who interpret it less as an omission about one individual and more as a reflection of how deeply embedded industry structures are in major label systems. In that view, including a figure of his stature would shift the focus from individual narratives to the broader machinery of the business itself, something productions are often cautious about addressing directly.
Stacey Dash, Ray J, Clive Davis, how are they all connected?
I want to say Diddy, but I don't.
We're going to be going through all of those possibilities.
Oh, okay. I wasn't supposed to answer. Okay.
And when we started LA as a Graveyard, then, it was like, okay, we can't just say that anymore, especially after I took them up to 35 for us to film about what happened in Mo there. It's hip hop.
Yeah.
And that's going to be moving on to Tombstone.
Okay.
And we'll be going through the unexpected, unusual deaths, unsolved murders, mysteries, things of that nature, things that I know, things that I'm directly connected to. We want to create this aspect because we want to start teasing people's minds into wanting to get these crimes solved, because the truth is, it seems like the hardest murder to solve in America is a rap murder. They just don't seem to get solved.
Without question.
That's a problem.
Without question.
Because we got over 35, 40 years of hip hop homicides.
Yes.
How many of them get solved?
They created a whole show. Yeah.
Unsolved hip hop mystery. Are you kidding me?
Hey. I have to ask you, you mentioned Clive Davis. They just showed him recently walking into somewhere and they asked him about Diddy and he said who? Is that old age or does he not, they're not in the same world? Or they're in the same world but they're not cohorts?
He's definitely been his ex.
50 Cent responded to the speculation by noting that documentaries are always shaped by constraints, time, structure, and legal considerations that naturally limit what can be included. Meanwhile, Cat Williams, through indirect jokes and remarks, was interpreted by some viewers as suggesting that certain exclusions were less about storytelling and more about external pressure. Online discussion ranged from claims of legal caution to broader concerns about industry influence, though nothing was ever verified. What stood out most to audiences was not any single omission, but the recurring pattern they believed they were seeing. Controversial moments narrowing down to a few visible consequences, while deeper questions about the wider system remain unresolved and largely out of view.
A lot of people have been talking about for some time now. Alex, let me begin with you. The docuseries is entitled Sean Combs, The Reckoning. How is this one different from the others that have been out there?
Well, you know, I think that the biggest marker of what makes this film or the series different is how much time we took into putting into the making of the film, doing our due diligence to get the right voices, you know, to the table, and you know, this is a series that spans over 30 years, so just by covering that much time, it took a lot of time for us to dig in and to kind of make sense of this story and to put this timeline together.
Yeah, and there's like some never before seen footage that I'm going to talk to you about in just a moment. But Curtis, people know about this very public, long-standing feud that you've had with Sean Combs. So what brought you to this project?
Well, you know, I just want to make really hit television. I like the idea of it being exciting, and I picked this project and started working on it about 5 months before I found Alex. And I know that she has the artistic integrity that it would take to make it a great project, you know. And there's the Quincy Jones era of production is find me that bass player because he's the baddest man out there in Chicago, and find me that keyboardist and fly them in from Miami, and we put them in and have the greatest jam session they ever heard, and it just always resulted in great hit music. And I take that concept into television production.
You take that into everything you do, sir.
That's right.
You really do. It really comes through, and appreciate that about you. As I said, never before seen footage of the days leading up to his arrest. Can you just talk a little bit about, was there anything that surprised you from that footage?
The footage, well, I mean, I think it's rare to find someone who's being, you know, talked about all over the country. You know, all eyes were on him, you know, so to speak. And it was really interesting to see his last days of freedom, you know, and what was sort of important to him. Obviously, you know, there's phone calls with his attorneys, you know, with his team. It was very interesting to watch a man who's known for his brand presence. You know, he has a really amazing knack for marketing and all of that, and how he was sort of taking that into account in how he was coming off to the public, you know, in the days leading up to his arrest and indictment. So that was interesting. It was also just interesting to see how laid back he was at times. But, you know, the footage also, in the footage, we also see how he's getting incoming, you know, lawsuits are dropping, and to get his real-time perspective on that was sort of jaw-dropping when we first got our eyes on the footage.
Was there anything that surprised you when you were watching the footage?
No, it didn't surprise me at all.
Because you've known him?
Yes, those behaviors. And I think it was surprising that he actually filmed it.
Yeah, and I want to ask about that, because how did you go about getting the footage? And do you know the intent of the videographer? Why he or this person took the footage?
She's a journalist, right?
Yeah.
So she's not going to reveal her sources, so you don't have to reveal that.
Not going to reveal my sources, but I think that partnering with someone like 50, it was very much in the universe as to what we were doing.
It's a lot easier to...
After the release of Sean Combs' The Reckoning, viewers observed that public discussion quickly became centered almost entirely on Diddy. Broader questions about the wider ecosystem, such as who financed events, who coordinated venues, and how recurring industry gatherings were structured, received far less attention in mainstream discourse. Some online commentators drew comparisons to previous entertainment controversies, arguing that narratives often condense complex networks into a single focal point, while more expansive connections remain largely unexplored or treated cautiously due to verification standards and legal sensitivities.
Walt was telling me on his way here, I didn't see this, but apparently there's another 100 hours of Diddy footage on the cutting room floor?
So Diddy is still doing press. I mean, Diddy. 50.
Diddy is not doing press.
No,
he's doing press on the yard.
He's doing press, like he's doing push-ups. No, 50 is still doing press, and obviously with the success of the Reckoning documentary, he's talking about this more footage. There's 140 hours that he has, and each episode was only maybe an hour, I think. There was 4 episodes, so there's at least 130 something more hours that he hasn't edited or produced, and he's saying that he may put it out on YouTube just to put it out there,
like on his 50 Cent Devo page.
I don't know if it'll be on his page, but he just said, he doesn't know if he's going to release it with Netflix or through Netflix. He might just, put it out on YouTube or wherever, some other platform. But the one thing that he said that was interesting is, he said, because you see people out here trying to, say, oh, the documentary can paint a narrative, this and the third. And his words were, if you see the rest of this footage, there will be no more, kind of like, oh, you can paint this narrative. It's pretty clear cut. The things that are being said in the documentary, the things that he still can't believe Puff, because he says that a lot. Like, he can't believe Puff actually recorded all of them.
Yeah. But I mean, so why does 50 not put that, if it's that damning and that crazy, why not put it in the doc?
I don't know why. I don't know why he didn't put it in the doc. Maybe, the stories, maybe he had more people that he would need to interview and have sit down for the documentary to kind of go through those stories that are in there. It could be a number of reasons, but the fact that he has over 100 hours of footage of personal footage and things like that leading up to the case, because the story is Puff felt like he was going to win the case, and that this was going to be footage for his documentary that he would have released,
the redemption,
after the trial was done and things like that. So the amount of things that he probably was recording, just going off of the fact that he felt like they were going to win the case.
This is my footage and these guys aren't going to put it out. Like, all the crazy we're going to take out.
Right.
But I mean, even I did see who I think was the director of what Diddy was trying to do, had mentioned that he was on vacation or was out of town and had someone fill in for him, and that's the only footage that made it to the doc because that guy sold it. So maybe that director didn't pay the person to fill in, so he owned the footage and was able to give it away. But maybe all this other footage 50 doesn't have permission to put out. Like, okay, he could have it, but the director's like, no, this is my footage. Like, you got the other, because I had my man's fill in for me for 3 days, and he has that footage now.
Right.
So maybe that could be it. But I mean, I don't know. I feel like 50 is so petty that if it was that crazy, he would have just put in the doc. But who knows? I don't even want to speculate what is on the 100 hours.
Yeah.
After Lil Rod telling me what was going on, I don't know if I want to see it visually.
I mean, and for 50 to say the footage that's on there is it leaves no more room for people to kind of say, oh, the narratives are being created, it's false. For 50 to say that, I mean, we can only imagine the footage that he's seen and that he has. So we'll have to see if any of that ever sees the light of day. I'm sure that, Diddy's team is going to do everything they can to make sure that doesn't happen. But, I don't know. I don't even know if I need to see anything else.
Across online spaces, speculation persisted about whether certain names or details were ever part of a larger story that never fully reached the public. However, nothing in this discussion has been confirmed, and much of it remains interpretive rather than factual. What is clear is that the situation intensified scrutiny around how entertainment narratives form, how they are filtered, and how quickly public attention consolidates around a single figure while broader structural questions fade from view.